This is Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She was nominated by resident Joe Biden back in 2022, and in a rare moment of absolute clarity, he told us exactly how and why she was selected for the highest court in the land.
It was here in South Carolina that I promised to appoint the first black woman to the United States Supreme Court. I said I'm going to appoint the first black woman to the Supreme Court, and she's about the smartest one of all of them, I might add.
And that's a little insulting to every other member of the Supreme Court, including Justices Kagan and Sotomayor, but whatever. Anyway, here's a quick flashback to Jackson's confirmation hearing.
Do you agree with Justice Ginsburg that there are physical differences between men and women that are enduring?
Senator, respectfully, I am not familiar with that particular quote or case, so it's hard for me to comment as to whether.
All right, I'd love to get your opinion on that.
Senator Blackburn is referring to the landmark decision from United States v. Virginia, where the Supreme Court struck down the long-standing male-only admission policy of the Virginia Military Institute. In the majority opinion, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote, "Supposed inherent differences are no longer accepted as a ground for race or national origin classifications. Physical differences between men and women, however, are enduring." So unlike race, where biological differences are not a valid basis for law, there are actual, undeniable physical and biological differences between men and women. Justice Ginsburg was acknowledging a basic biological reality. The fact that a Supreme Court nominee wasn't familiar with one of the most famous statements from her ideological predecessor, well, it's telling for sure. And it would get worse.
Do you interpret Justice Ginsburg's meaning of men and women as male and female?
Again, because I don't know the case, I don't know how I interpret it. I'd need to read the whole thing.
And that's weird, because earlier in the day, Ketanji Brown Jackson said the following.
Since I was nominated to this position, I have received so many notes and letters and photos from little girls around the country who tell me that they are so excited for this opportunity and that they have thought about the law in new ways.
Oh, sure. Everyone knows that children, especially little girls, are fervent Supreme Court watchers. So I'm certain that all of these children, completely on their own volition, not only decided to send Judge Jackson letters of encouragement, but they're now all thinking about the law in new ways.
Because I am a woman, because I am a black woman, all of those things people have said have been really meaningful to them.
So it should be noted that Judge Jackson seems to know what a girl is and even refers to herself as not only a woman, but a black woman. Now watch what will go down in history as one of the worst responses by a Supreme Court nominee to a question.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
And by the way, she's smarter than the rest of these guys. Oh.
So in her short tenure as an Associate Justice, there have been a number of controversial moments, including during Murphy v. Missouri, where Justice Jackson argued that the Constitution is just too restrictive on the government's ability to censor speech that it doesn't like.
So my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways in the most important time periods.
Hamstringing the government. Yes, congratulations, Justice Jackson. You just inadvertently figured out what exactly the First Amendment was specifically designed to do. But apparently the foundational document of our country is just an annoying roadblock to Justice Jackson.
I guess some might say that the government actually has a duty to take steps to protect the citizens of this country, and you seem to be suggesting that that duty cannot manifest itself in the government encouraging or even pressuring platforms to take down harmful information.
So KBJ thinks that the government had a duty to lean on tech billionaires to censor harmful information about, like, COVID and the 2020 election. And her logic doesn't get any better when she talks about voting rights. Listen to this bizarre comparison that she makes.
So going back to this discriminatory intent point, I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action absent discriminatory intent is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities.
Wait, she's not comparing black voters to disabled people, right? Right?
I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current-day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan.
The bigotry of low expectations is absolutely off the charts here. Next, let's move on to Trump v. Barbara, i.e. the birthright citizenship case, where Jackson acted like asking for a basic ID in a maternity ward was some kind of logistical impossibility.
How does this work? Are you suggesting that when a baby is born, people have to have documents, present documents? Is this happening in the delivery room? How are we determining when or whether a newborn child is a citizen of the United States under your rule?
Has she ever heard of a birth certificate? The hospital literally takes down the parents' names, social security numbers, and basic information before they even let you put your kid in a car seat. It's standard paperwork, not a special counsel investigation.
So are we bringing pregnant women in for depositions? What are we doing to figure this out?
Depositions? Now, nobody is cross-examining women in labor. You would just check their basic legal residency status. It is truly not that complicated. But if you think her confusion over standard hospital paperwork is bad, wait until you hear her groundbreaking new legal theory on what happens when you go on vacation.
I was thinking about this, and I think there are various sources that say this, that you obviously have permanent allegiance based on being born in whatever country you're from. That's what everybody recognizes.
Not exactly. You see, allegiance refers to the loyalty, devotion, or duty of fidelity owed by a person to a country, sovereign, cause, or group. So if your parents are citizens of, say, China, and they give birth in the United States, their baby doesn't automatically give its full allegiance to the United States.
And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law?
That's called breaking the law in a foreign country. They don't make you swear an oath to the emperor before they throw you in a Tokyo jail.
I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen to, under Japanese law, go and prosecute the person who has stolen it.
Right, because you are a tourist in a civilized nation with a functional police force. What does this have to do with birthright citizenship, you ask? Couldn't tell you.
So there's this relationship based on, even though I'm a temporary traveler, I'm just on vacation in Japan, I'm still locally owing allegiance in that sense. Is that the right way to think about it?
No, not remotely. Justice Jackson is basically saying that if she's on vacation in another country, like say Japan, and she steals somebody's wallet, she becomes a Japanese citizen or something.
And if so, doesn't that explain why both temporary residents and undocumented people would have that kind of quote-unquote allegiance just by virtue of being in the United States?
No, it doesn't. She is confusing political allegiance with territorial jurisdiction. And her argument for granting automatic U.S. citizenship to children of illegal immigrants is that they have the same allegiance as U.S. citizens just because they can be arrested for breaking the law. Wow, thanks, Joe Biden.
And by the way, she's smarter than the rest. I'm serious, she's incredible. She is genuinely incredible.
Anyway, that's it for now. Head on over to my super cool merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.